Hey guys, it's Chloe, and today I am here with a brand new video. Today I am here with my March wrap-up. So March ended up being a very interesting reading month. We did have Read-A-Rama during the month of March, so I finished a total of 6 books and I started 2. But I am also filming this on Friday, which is March 30th, and there's still a whole other day I can read. So let's go ahead and discuss. So as far as my stats are concerned, I read 6 total books. 3 of them were physical, 2 of them were ebooks, and 1 was an audiobook. Out of those 6, 2 of them went towards the A to Z challenge, and some miscellaneous stuff is it was good reading during Read-A-Rama, there was a small slump after Read-A-Rama, and I read a variety of genres this month. The first book I completed in March. I actually started at the very end of February, but I knew I would not finish it in February, and that is Gemini by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This is the second book in the Illuminae Files trilogy. I read Illuminae back in February, and then I picked up Gemini almost immediately after. And guys, this series messes with your mind, at least my mind. It's really hard for me to find a sci-fi series or a series that's not contemporary that I really enjoy, but I do enjoy this series as much as it messes with my head. I ended up giving Gemini 4 stars, and it did not count for a letter for the A to Z challenge. So after I finished Gemini, it was Read-A-Rama time. We had a week-long readathon this month, and I did vlog for that readathon, so I will link that in the description below if you're interested in seeing my progress throughout the week. The first book I read during that readathon was The Upside of Undone by Becky Albertalli. This is her second book that is in the Simon universe, I found out. We follow a girl named Molly who has had 26 crushes, and there is a lot of representation in this book, which I love. There is pansexual rep, bisexual rep, and lesbian rep, I think. And this book was just absolutely amazing. I love Becky Albertalli's writing. I gave it 5 stars, and it counted for the letter U for the A to Z challenge. The next book I read during Read-A-Rama, I actually don't have with me. I had to return it to the library, but it was Saga Volume 8 by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. This is a consistent graphic novel series that I am always reading whenever the new one comes out. And I gave this one a 3. All of them are always good. I can never remember what happened to the last one, but all of them are just good, so I always give them 3s. And this did not count for a letter for the A to Z challenge. I finished this in like an hour or 2 during the readathon. So the next book that I read during Read-A-Rama, and also the last one that I finished during Read-A-Rama, is They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. I totally forgot to mention at the beginning of this video, March was the month that my boyfriend Will picked out my TBR. And of the books that I've said so far, this is the first one that he picked, which is They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. Absolutely amazing. I loved it. I was so happy that Will picked this out. This book breaks you. It is so sad, but it is so good. And this is also the first book by Adam Silvera that I have read, and I am so happy and so excited that I have his 2 other books that I can pick up as well. I ended up giving this 4.5 stars, and the reason I gave it 4.5 stars is because at the end, I felt like there were some things that weren't wrapped up that I wish were wrapped up. I really want to know what happened to one of the main characters. I mean, obviously it's implied, but I want to know, like, what happened. And there's also another character that's a side character that we meet, because we meet a ton of side characters in this book. There's a side character that we meet that we never know what happens to her either, and I really want to know what happened. I highly recommend this book. It was so good, and honestly, it really made me think, like, we don't have a system like Deathcast where we know what day we're gonna die. But it kind of just really puts things into perspective, and it's one of those don't take things for granted situations. Like I said, I give it 4.5 stars, and it counted for the letter T for the A to Z challenge. The next book I completed, I started this during Read-A-Rama, but I didn't finish it during Read-A-Rama, and it's also the second book that Will picked out for me to read this month, and it is The Siren by Kiera Cass. I was really looking forward to this book. I love the selection by Kiera Cass, and I was told going into this that it is very different from the selection. So I went in expecting that. And honestly, it took me a while to get into this book. I didn't really get into the book until about page 100, and this is only roughly a 300-page book. But I did end up enjoying this. It just took me a while to get into. We follow a girl named Kalen, who is a siren, and she's constantly moving around, but they have to stay silent when they're in public and they use sign language. But then she meets this human boy who she falls in love with. There was a lot going on in this book, but I still ended up enjoying it. Not as much as the selection. I love the selection so much, but I didn't like this as much as The Selection, but I still enjoyed it. Like I said, I gave it 3.5 stars, and it did not count for the A to Z challenge. And the last book that I completed in March was my unwrapped book, and if you watched my March TBR, you know what it is, and it is Stranger Than Fanfiction by Chris Colfer. This is the book that I unwrapped. It was a book written by a male author, and I was excited for this book because I like Chris Colfer's writing. His fantasy work is absolutely amazing, and I've read one of his contemporary books. This is his second contemporary that he's released, and it was so good. I didn't know what to expect. I realized going into the last week of March, I only had 1 week to read this book and finish another book, and I was like, oh god, what do I do? So I knew that I was going to be driving for a little bit one day, and I ended up downloading the audiobook, and I listened to the audiobook for this. Let me tell you that I have not listened to an audiobook since October, and it was The Hate U Give. And all in 2017, I constantly listened to audiobooks, but I listened to them at like max speed, and I didn't comprehend the information like I thought I was. So I listened to this one at 1.25 speed, and I definitely comprehended and appreciated the information that I was getting a lot more than I have with previous audiobooks. I think it helped me enjoy audiobooks more because it was the first audiobook that I've read this year. I haven't listened to them in a while, so I actually appreciated the book that I was listening to. I ended up reading this in 2 days. It was really short, really sad, but really good, and it's a road trip novel. It's adventure. It's really great. I ended up giving it a 4 stars, and it did not count for the A to Z challenge. So now we need to discuss. Like I said earlier in this video, today is Friday, March 30th. You guys are watching this on March 31st. I have started 2 books that, one, I'm not going to finish in March. Absolutely not. But one, I will finish in March because I still have the rest of today, Friday, and all of Saturday to read it, and I also have less than 100 pages left in it. That book is actually the one on my TBR that I did not talk about already, and that is Upsidio by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I was not thinking I was going to finish this. Our live show is actually Sunday, this coming Sunday, April 1st, at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on my channel, and I knew I needed to get this done. I was putting this off so hard. I started this like 2 weeks ago, and for a whole week I just didn't touch it. But now I am on page 529. This is a 615 page book, and I am finishing it before March is over. If I finish this before I edit the video, I'll try and add in the little asterisk at the bottom, like with my star rating and stuff. But I'm finishing this in March, so technically my total of books finished will be 7. Technically, but this video is a little different, I guess. So, Obsidio, I will be finishing in March. This other book that I started, I will not be finishing in March. I actually started the ebook when I was at Universal Orlando, because when we wait in lines, I need something to do. So I was reading, and I ended up starting 50 Shades Freed by E.L. James. This is the 3rd and final book in the 50 Shades trilogy. I just want to finish this series already. Especially because I only have 1 book and I'm trash for the series. So I'd like to finish it. I'm going to try and continue it in April, but unknown if it'll be finished then. But I read a total of 28 pages that day at Universal, and I haven't touched it since. And that was a week ago. So, no, that was 2 weeks ago. So, this is definitely not getting finished this month. So, those are the 6 books that I completed so far, the 1 book that I'm going to complete, and the 1 book that I started but did not finish this month. That was a lot, but I hope you all enjoyed this video. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. My April TBR on Wednesday, I am so excited for you guys to see it, so make sure you stay tuned for that. It's coming out on Wednesday. And all the information for the Obsidio live show is going to be in the description below in case you're going to be joining us on Sunday, April 1st. That's this Sunday, April 1st, tomorrow when you're watching this on Saturday. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed it. As always, if you'd like to check out my vlog channel, Cloessence, it's linked in the description below. And if you'd like to see here, please go ahead and click subscribe. Post new videos every Wednesday and Saturday, so click subscribe so you can be updated when I post those. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!